Now, I take no responsibility. I should put this at the beginning. I give no responsibility for you doing this. It's got a blade going around 30,000 times a minute or something. It's your own responsibility, not mine. So all of this, I am just giving information, and you can do with it what you want. It works great for me to get a stainless steel blender for £18, and a vacuum blender better than anything else in the world for next to nothing. I'll open this to the outside. Now all the air's come into this, and I'll put that on my knee because the top's going to come loose. You hear that? There it is now. That is loose. The vacuum has gone. So £18 to make your own stainless steel vacuum blender jar. And this, I've got to tell you, this is the best blender jar in the world. In this video, I'm going to show you how to convert your blender into the best in the world vacuum blending. I've called it cold steam blending because the vacuum is strong enough to boil the water. So what happens is the water is vaporizing like boiling, and that takes out all of the oxygen because the steam is coming out and out, but it's cold steam because it's made in a vacuum. So I'm going to show you how to convert your blender into one of those and do cold steam blending. That's my invention and my name. For not my name, but the name I've called it. I'll show you how to make a cold steam blender. That's what we'll do. We'll make a cold steam blender. And I'm going to show you how to make your own stainless steel blender jug. Then we'll make a blend. I will show you a super nutritious blend that I use. And then to culminate it all, I will teach you holographic breathing, and we'll do a guided meditation so that you can learn holographic breathing, and then we'll be using that to heal through the digestion so that you can get all of the nutritious from these super duper cold steam blends. So we'll look at the blender jug first, because I was just converting these plastic jugs before, and you'd have to make them flat, the top, to be able to put a vacuum in. But in the end, I just didn't want any plastics. I didn't want my blenders near plastics. So I made my own out of stainless steel because there wasn't any in the market. There we have my smashed up milk churn, which was, I'm not sure what, I think this was £18 from Amazon. I will put a link in the description below. They're out of stock at the minute. This is a 4-litre one. When it was cylindrical, the fluid just went up too high too quickly, and I found it better to smash in the sides and make it square. It was also because I wanted because it's quite wide, I wanted the blender blades to get closer to the edge so that they could break up nuts and things like that more easily than having a big space if it was just cylindrical. And this turned out to be amazing because what I call this is the round cube vortex. Because what happens is the blend circles in the round bit. The blades are spinning round, and the blend first of all starts circling in the round base part of it. There it is inside there. You can see the round base, you can see the blender blade, and it circles in this round base, and then it is forced up these 4 channels, and then you can see how the channels curve in towards the top and then more there. So it circles here, fires up these 4 channels, and then circles back into the middle, and then makes a vortex down to the blender blade. So you get this round cube vortex blender. And I've got to tell you, in just a few seconds, this makes some smoothest blends I've ever had. It truly fantastic way of blending. And it is so easy to clean, because there's none of these ridges. You know, they've got these ridges to get the blends to crush and things, and then they've got a flat 90-degree bottom, and then they've got all of this stuff, this cap that's got full of angles. This, you just put the lid back in it, you get the lid, you put the lid back on afterwards, shake it all up, and just wash it out, and it's clean. Anyway, we will go. Anyway, that is the blend jar. I'm going to go more into that and show you how to make it and how that all works in a minute. But first of all, I want to show how you make this jar into a vacuum blender. Now, they have vacuum blenders on the market, and they used, the one I had a 6-watt vacuum inside the actual base. It's tiny, it's like that, and that's about what most of them are, 6 watts, something like that. And I thought, I'm going to make my own, and I'm going to make I tried it with those, and to see if I could get it to boil, but it wouldn't boil at all. And I thought, I'm going to make a proper vacuum in mine and actually make it boil so that steam is coming out, cold steam is coming out. So this, it's a bit heavy. I've got oil all over my hand. This is I use and that is 250 watts. It's a third, I'm not sure, it's a third of a horsepower, maybe, or 1 horsepower, I don't know. But it's 250 watts. You can get 330 watts. I think you get 500 watts. But I went for the smaller one because that happily boils water. And here is where, now before I was using clear plastic blend jars, and you can see through the side, you can see it boiling and you see what's happening. So I just would have a stainless steel flat top on the top, but because I can't see inside this one, and I don't want it when it boils, if it's my normal blend that's got chia seeds and flax seeds and all of that oil, that doesn't just boil, it makes a foam, and then that can come out into this tube. And I wanted to be viewing it from the top so I can turn the vacuum off as it starts to come close to the top. So this one is, but I'll show you how it works, then I'll show you what it's made of and the different things that you can use. So there's this is float glass. Here's my gasket that's going to go between, and this is, I've forgotten the name. I will leave it in the comments, and where you, in the comments I will leave links to everything so you can get everything, including where you can get a decent blender cheaply. I'll teach you how to get cheap blenders and how to know how powerful your blender is. But we're going to look at this first. So where's my blend jar? So here's my blend jar. Here's my flat top. Let's normally, oh hang on, let's just, I'm gonna clonk it on top. Now I've got a plug with a flat switch on the switch that is so the pump is permanently on and then it's turned off at the plug, and I can just click that with my foot. And then, so I'll lift this up on my knee. So here I need to open that. So now it's pulling out through here. So I want to slowly stop that. And now, see, I'm just lifting it from the lid. That is creating a vacuum inside that. Now there's no water in there, so it won't boil at the minute. It's just creating, just creating a vacuum in there. There's a couple of clicks as that completely vacuums. That's the only one that does it, and I haven't quite found. I'll knock it in a bit further one day, but there you have it, totally sealed. I'm lifting that up with the lid, and I'll turn this off. Now what I will show you is from a clip from a previous webinar of a see-through video, a see-through jug, so you can see it boiling inside the jug. Let me put this on screen share. You are sharing your screen, so hopefully you can see that. That's a plastic jug with a blend in it. I've turned the sound off so I can speak through it, and I'm going to turn that on. Can you see as the vacuum is working, it all starts whizzing around, and you can see it's going misty at the top because that is now boiling, and what is happening is cold steam is pouring out of that and down the pipe and away. So I'll turn that off now. It's pretty quick and instant, and we will stop screen sharing now. Okay, so that's how the vacuum works. It's still solid, it's still vacuumed in there. So that's how the vacuum works. And when it's got water in there, the water boils and you get cold steam pouring through here and off through the pump. Now, the pumps, I will put the name in the description. It said not good to use it with water because obviously you're pouring steam through the pump and that may make rust or something like that. But I've been running this pump for 3 years and it works as good as new. So instead of a 6-volt pump, they're the ones that dentists use, they're tiny. Which most, and you get bubbles in those blends. We're coming off from those blends, but it's not boiling. Those bubbles are the oxygen or air coming out of the vegetables. You're not getting a proper vacuum. And they kind of work. They take out, remove a lot of the oxygen. But this, as soon as it's boiling, every bit of oxygen is taken out and away, so it's completely oxygen free. Okay, so there it is through. There's a picture of it through the top, so I can get it, so that's good. And let's just turn the pump on. So the pump's on. Here we go, see it all coming up. There's it all bubbling away. So I'm going to turn that. Oh no, it's okay. Bubble, 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 bubble. It's all bubbling. So I'll let that bubble for a while, letting all the steam coming out. All right, so now I'll turn that off. Lock those. Let that steam calm down. Okay, now I'm not sure how much you'll see of this. I'm going to slowly turn this up. I've got to turn it on first. So we'll slowly turn this up. So so it's not very high at the minute because okay, so I was turning it on and off at the beginning to get the nuts there, but it wasn't turned up very high, so it doesn't break anything up at that stage, but it might break down the bigger nuts a bit. And then I'm not sure how long I ran it, but I think it was about 10-12 seconds. So we're going to talk a bit more about how to make one of these. Then I'll show you how to get a decent blender very inexpensively from China and what to use, and I'll give a link so that you can go to the company I use. But how you saw the pump. So here you've got it. This is a Y junction. It's got two taps here. This is to the outside. So if I open that, any air will flow into here, and then if I open that, air will flow back into this. See, I unscrewed the bottom, so the actual bottom, because I wanted to show you the blade is very lightly on. But even with the bottom bit lightly on, it still held its vacuum, still liftable by that. So to let the air back in, you open this. Well, I'll close that. That is closed now to the vacuum pump. I'll open that. I'll open this to the outside. Now all the air's come into this, and I'll put that on my knee because the top's going to come loose. You hear that? There it is now. That is loose. The vacuum has gone. So £18 to make your own stainless steel vacuum blender jar. And this, I've got to tell you, this is the best blender jar in the world. So this is how to make the best vacuum with the most nutritious blends, the best blender jar you're going to get. Now, because it's so wide, I wanted to get a much wider. See how wide that blade is? That's a Blendex wide blender blade. Now I got that from China for I think £12, so you can buy that. Again, that's from AliExpress, and you can look through Blendex, and the other one is Vitamix. So you can buy, here is a Vitamix one. Now notice how it's got these flaps as it turns this way. It's got these flaps on it to see the flap there and then there to push the water down. With the one that I'm going to show you there, I cut that off because it's not needed. It whooshes round so fast in this, it doesn't need, you don't need to spend all that energy having these lifted up so they're like propeller blades pushing it down, and then having these flaps pushing the fluid down. With this, you don't need to waste all of that energy pushing it down. You know when you've got your blender going and it's trying to get up to the top because you've got a bit more than you would normally use, and it can't, and then about a minute or so it suddenly goes over, and then you get the vortex and oh, thank God for that, it's got around. This, it just, from the minute you start it, it's just flying around really quickly without, I flatten it, one, this has got a lifted on that side, so like, and an angle, so it's like a propeller pushing the fluid down. So I flattened it, and then I cut off these extra bits so it's completely flat, so there was no pushing the water down. So if you imagine it like a propeller blade stuck into a wall, all of that effort pushing it back, that is using up a lot of energy just to circulate, to push it down, and then it comes up and around. With this, you don't need that because it just throws it out. So rather than having to push it down and then up, it's a natural circle in this way. It just throws it out with centripetal force into the circle, then up into the cube, and then down into the vortex. It's a complete synergetic circle, and it's an energy circle from circle to square to vortex to circle, and it's got no ribs. It just does that exact flow, and it doesn't need to force the fluid through the blade. The blade is completely flat, flattened off, so it's not got any of these angles, and I've cut off those, and I'll show you that in this other one that I've made. Now again, that is available on AliExpress. I don't know, I got mine for £2. It was some ridiculous thing for some reason, but I think 10. So that looks like that, and I cut it right back. See what it looks like now. Now this, notice I put the blade right at the edge. See, so that there is actually, that's more flat. It goes under the lip of the flattened in bit. It's kind of coming out to here somewhere in that, so it's in there. So that is there. Now unfortunately, when I was making this one, I made a crack in the side, so I can't use it. I've got to buy a new one and carry on with. Now this. Now the reason I did this, I like this one because what happens is if the pieces are large, they sometimes just wish around in this circle bit without getting pushed up the sides. So sometimes nuts will go just round and round in circles here, the bigger nuts. Or if I was doing a vegetable blend, I'd have the cucumber bits a bit big. It's not because the nuts are hard, it's just the bigger they are, the more likely it's not going to come up through here. But I quite like that because you get makes an ultra pure blend. It just mushes everything instantly, but I like having bits of nuts left in it so that I eat my blend and I get the saliva. So I want those extra nuts just as or those extra bits of cucumber in the vegetable blend. So I'm chewing my blend as I eat it to get all of the saliva, and it takes you not just whoosh it down and it's gone. You properly chew, you get the saliva going to start the digestion. So this is perfect, even though it doesn't mush the nuts perfectly. That's what I want. But if I did want to mush the nuts, when I get the new one of these, this does it because the blade comes right to the side there. See, it's right in under that lip. So the nuts. Now this is even more powerful. It just now it's broken. I'm trying to get a new one, but they're out of stock because it got this hole in it. And I'll get a new one and I will experiment with this. And with these bigger blades, it's just too powerful. It is circulating really, really quickly, which is fine, which is great. But you see, I prefer it with the other one because with this one, I can have this lid on it and I can put the vacuum on and the bubbles won't go up the tube, which is fine. And having it on full speed in this one, it circles at a high speed, but it doesn't go on this. It circles over before it gets to the lid. So I can take this off. I don't have to wash this bit. But on this one, it circles so powerfully, it does smash all the nuts to nothing and everything is just liquid at the end. But the top, it will be whooshing and bouncing across the top. So I have to wash that all afterwards. So I prefer that one because I can chew my blends. But what I'm going to do is when I get the new one of these and have the hole more to the sides, I will put smaller blades in it, so it will still do the nuts, it will still do a really nice blend, but it won't be so smashing against the top. So you can see what I did to the Vitamix blade there. Let's compare that. This is also a big blend. This is a Vitamix blend blade. I think this is also 12 pounds. This is a wide blade because it's wide bottom, and that's got two things on it. Let's compare it. So see the difference. See the difference. There's a normal blend. See, they're much smaller. Or where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Or with this, you see the difference in the size of the blades there. These are much longer, and the Blend X is a bit wider still, the blend, and again that had I filed that down. That's very complicated. I can't recommend it just through all of the work because the Blend X blades spin the opposite way. So I've turned it upside down, I've cut the flaps off, I've cut that with the angle grinder all one side, and then with the angle grinder I'll put the blade, cut it sharp on the other side, so now it is cutting, what way is it? I guess from here. So I guess this goes clockwise. If you're looking from the bottom, it's going clockwise. I couldn't, and also the mechanism for the it's got much smaller. The Blend X one hasn't got a standard thing on the bottom, so it doesn't fit with my blender. But anyway, I just took the blade off and I made it. I completely flattened it off, took the flanges off, and cut the angle on the other side. I thought of reversing the current in my blender and just having it going anti-clockwise, but I would still have to have it with a normal thread, and then you see it needs to go the same direction as this top nut, which means the top nut is continually tightening rather than loosening. So if you put it in a clockwise blender, you do need it going clockwise because of the nut. So anyway, that's the Blend X one, cut down, the blade put on the other side and completely flat, which I'm using at the minute. Is bigger and does quite a stronger job, but you can also fit more blades on top. You know, I can have that which has got 4 blades. I can take all of these off and just put, you see that? You take this top bit off, take the nut off. See, it's got a square part there, and these have got a square hole in the middle. Put that in. See, I've also flattened this Vitamix blade. Now I've got another blade on the top. You put some washers on. They go on the square bit. Put them all on actually, just so I save them. So you can fit as many blades on it as you want. But all of them, I save all of the energy in these go into cutting. Sorry, these go into cutting. Because I've flattened them off so they're not beveled like a propeller blade, and I've cut the flanges off so there's no pushing back. The centripetal force of it just it will, because it's firing back down, it will just go straight through them, and then the centripetal force sends it out to the side. So you don't waste all of that energy. All of the energy goes into the cutting. And if you think of a propeller blade just fitted into a wall and it's going around, all of that pressure putting the air back into that, as taking a lot of energy to do it. If you imagine that propeller blade was just flat with no bevel, it would spin so much faster because it's not pushing all of that air back into the wall. So these do that. They're much more efficient than any other blenders. They don't need the bevel, they don't need to push it down, they just send it out directly to the side, and then it whizzes around that. And you can see where the angle is, it's going out, so it's pushing it out, so it pushes it out to the furthest point, which is it's round here, but then it's even further out here, so it spins around here, then out to there, up there, over, down and back to the bottom. So the next bit you need to know, if you're going to make one of these, is how to make the hole in the bottom. And I'll show you what I've done. Let me show you, just because people are asking the pipe for this. Oh, I'll show you this in a minute, where to get all the bits for this, because I know how to get them much cheaper. We'll finish with the blend jar first. So I've got this stainless steel sheet on the bottom. I'll show you what that's for and why. So you can use these to unscrew the bottom bit. I'm going to show you how this fits on the blender as well. So here we have that, and I'm unscrewing that now. I'm going to take this sheet off, and there's the hole in the bottom. Now, when I measured the other holes, they're 29 millimeters, so I got a 29 millimeter thing, but can you see how there's two flat edges on that? There's a flat edge here and a flat edge where my thumb and finger, so it's round here, but where my thumb and finger is, they're flat. And so the hole in a blender, it will be flat, around, like that. So this is held in rigid, but it's going to be really hard to do by yourself. So what I did is I made it with a just circle with a 28 mil cutter rather than a 29 mil. And you need to go slowly with those because they'll bore a big, if you rush with them, they will bore a bigger hole. So you need to go slowly and from the underneath and make sure everything is held tightly because you don't want the hole any bigger. Jar cutter. It's steel cutter, hole cutter. So to hold it solid, I've made this plate, and then see now it won't turn because the two flat edges are held by this and this. So that goes through the plate. Now it's held solid. It's the wrong way up. Well, yeah. Anyway, so what happens? Comes through the hole. Yeah, comes through the hole. See, now it turns. Can you see? You see the flat edge there turning? Put this in. Now, for it to turn, it's actually got to turn that plate. So you get that square with the bottom. Then you get this. And then that just spins on. So that's still got the, yeah. Then to tighten it up, so now to tighten it, the plate is holding it solid. And then that turns and it's held solid. So before, without that plate, when I tried to tighten it up, it turns the whole mechanism inside, and you can't stop it. But now to tighten it, I can do that. So the next thing you need to know is, here we have, that's not a Vitamix, this is a Vitamix blade, and the housing is Vitamix. Can you see the black ring here? That is really small, and unless this hole is exact, it's going to leak. And where it's flat, because the bottom is just a hole, it can also, it's not that it leaks, it fits okay, but then the air gets pulled in through the bottom into the vacuum. You need a complete seal, and the pressure of the pull of the vacuum pulls air through. So what I did, rather than use this tiny, and it's just so, there's the edge. It's only about, you've only got about 0.5 millimeter. There's no room for error with that O-ring. So I bought thicker O-rings, and I also made them smaller, so they're thicker, but they're also, the inside edge is smaller, so they really pull in tight into here. So if the vacuum is trying to pull air in, it can't, because this is gripped so tightly. So I'll take that black one off here. And these are 4 mil wide, but you can order, next time I will get 5 mil ones. And these ones are exterior 31 millimeters. So the exterior is 31 millimeters. It's 4 millimeters thick. So the internal, so it'll be 8, it's to both sides, 4 millimeters each side, so that's 8. 8 away from 31 is 23, so the internal circumference is 23, whereas the internal circumference of this is much wider. So this, I think, is 24, 25, and next time I'll get the internal circumference even narrower. So it's a bit more of an effort to get this over. But then now it will seal it takes up any discrepancies. So if you get one that leaks at all, again, I'll put a link below. And these are 4, and they do the job great, especially if you just put a 28 mil hole rather than the 20. This fits for me. When I cut it in a 28 mil hole, this just fits perfectly into it. But then you've got these 2 spaces here, and then this 4 millimeter one, spreads it out further so it's further out on the inside face, and that gives a perfect seal. So one, use a 28mm hole cutter rather than a 29mm hole cutter. Cut it slowly so that it doesn't widen at any bits, because by going fast it spreads out the hole a bit. So cut it slowly, 28mm, get wider O-rings, because these Vitamix blades are, there's no room at all with their O-ring, but you put a larger O-ring on, you'll get a perfect seal there to the bottom. And then you cut off. See where the flange is there? I just cut from this inside edge right back to there on both sides. I hammered it flat to get that out, because it doesn't need any downward pressure. It flies around quite quick enough as it is. So that is how you get the bottom. That is why I put there. Also, that gives it more stability on the blender. Now, how that fits to the blender is through this. Now, this will be different for different blenders. You have to fit it, as well as this drop glass here. You can use, I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is PETG acrylic, which is food safe, very strong, and you can cut that into there with a thing, whereas this one is glass and it's glued in with a nut on the top. Okay, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah. So there is the top of the blender. Where have I put it? This fits on the top of the blender. Now, put these two flanges, it's not really needed. You just need something that will stop it turning, but I put those on there anyway. I wonder if I, see, that's a shame. I don't know if I put it back on in the same way as I took it off. We'll soon find out. Okay, there you go. Now, there it is with that and this. Oh, it slid. It slid. There you go. Now, that top stops it from turning as it goes to there, and what I can do is slip both of those over. Now, they're a little bit loose so that it holds it down as well as it's sliding against the screw there. But generally, I've got my hand on the top anyway, and it just slides against those bits of metal so that it doesn't turn. But also you could just have a bit of metal there and a bit of wood on top, so it slides under the bit of wood so it can't come off. But generally I've got my hand on the top just in case anything goes wrong. Now, I take no responsibility. I should put this at the beginning. I give no responsibility for you doing this. It's got a blade going around 30,000 times a minute or something. It's your own responsibility, not mine. So all of this, I am just giving information, and you can do with it what you want. It works great for me to get a stainless steel blender for £18, and a vacuum blender better than anything else in the world for next to nothing. I will quickly show, because I've got this up, I will quickly show you. This broke after about a year. These stopped working. And that, you notice when that happens, these, I got these because those press panel things always break. As happened on, and you say, oh, well, I was saying, and it's £100 or £200 to fix it. You buy one of these. This was £8. Oh, no, I got this on. It's a bit dirty. I got this on Amazon, but you can get them cheaper from AliExpress. It's a voltage something. It changes the voltage from 0 to 220 volts. So the higher you turn it up, can you hear it? So you turn this, and you can go from and you can do it very slowly to get whatever speed, so you can mix things, but it's turning the blade fast and fast. And I'm not going to put it up to full because there's no pressure on it. But also what you can do, you know, when you have a pulse, because what I like to do is to get some of the nuts when I do a blend. I like to break some of them up. And what I will do is I'll turn it up halfway, and then, so I'll turn this on a bit so you can hear it. And now it's starting at a faster speed. I turn it up a bit. Turn it off. So then you can turn it up to full speed and have a pulse at full speed. But because I don't want to get the top dirty, because it throws it up quickly, I have it about half up, and I do 3 click on, clicks off, and that, because the nuts won't be so pushed out to the side, that breaks the nuts up a bit, and then they get in this circle, cube, vortex. As soon as they're under a certain size, they're not so likely just to go round and round the bottom bit, and they spin around in it. So I do that 3 times, and I'm left with just about the right amount of nuts to chew my blend. I chew the nuts and drink the blend. The blend will just be water. It's such a good blend jar, it'd just be water, and I chew the nuts. If I did that 6 times, then there would be no nuts. So on, off, put it at 0, on, slowly turn up. Now you can get these very cheaply for just 2 or 3 quid. And you can build them into your blender, or they're in a little box. But this is much easier because you can just move it from blender into blender. I think it's 14 quid on Amazon. I think it's 8 quid or something from AliExpress. Again, I'll put the link below. So depending, see, I made that thickness because that gets the pronger and that underneath at the right height into the blend machine. So depending on what blend machine you've got and what blade you're putting in makes a thickness to that. With my, I don't know that it's here. I wonder if it's here. No, that's not it. No, there it is. That's it. This Vitamix blade is not on it's actually on a different stem. And that's a shorter stem, and I don't need that bit of wood. I can just sit it. It just sits perfectly down onto those rubber things, and they kind of grip it. So I don't have that wooden thing. But the wooden thing is safer because if you use it, you can lap things on top. Again, you do this at your own risk. It's not my risk. I'm just showing you what I've done. So so what happens is all of this breaks as normal with most blenders. Every blender I've had, those are broken. And all you do is you take the bottom off, you cut all of the wires, you take all of that stuff out, and you get the 3 wires from the motor. You've got earth, positive and negative, and you join the lead that was going to all of the gumph here. You get that lead, and you just connect it directly to the wires coming from the motor. So all of your previous stuff, and that's what I want. I don't want goes fast, goes slow, goes up, goes down. I'm a control freak. I want to be in charge. I want to turn it up and down. I want to pulse it. So for me, I love this thing. It's great. It just goes, I turn it to the lowest speed or highest speed. I turn it on and off. I pulse it, whatever I need, all from this. If this breaks, you get a new one, or you get a cheap, because this cover has just got one of the cheaper 3 or 4 quid ones inside, but it's got the control and the connect the plug socket. So you can put the other one inside. Oh, you just get another one of these 6 quid from AliExpress, rather than paying 100. You know, I charged like 150 quid. I mean, forget it. So I will leave a link to where I got with your, if you're going to get a blender, what you want to get, because to gauge the strength that you want, you need to get the strongest one. You can't go by how many watts it is or how many kilowatts it is. You need to go by the torque. So you can have a 3 kilowatt blender going 30,000 revs a minute, but doesn't mean it's got the strongest torque, which is converting that power into motion. So this has got the strongest one that I can find. Now most companies will do a selection which was 9,850 torque. The company I went to in Alibaba, which was the main manufacturers, they were different sizes. So that one, the depth of the motor is something like this, and then you see them going down. They can be the same watts, but the amount of plates and it goes down substantially. So the big, again, I'll put a link, I'll put how many things you want, but you want a biggest ever motor. Then if it breaks, you can buy one of these voltage things. If you put a knife or a spoon in it and you somehow mess up the motor, you get a new motor for 12 quid. 12 pounds. So, you know, if I put a new motor in here, they're just the chassis. You need the chassis, but the motor's 12 quid. The voltage regulator's 6 quid. You can get the best ever blender. That's all it is. I mean, all of this stuff, oh, this wonderful blender, all this, all that. It's a motor with a thing on the top going to a blend jar. That is it. Not all this science, all this, that, all this. This is the best ever vacuum blender for £18. Now from AliExpress, like it is £12 from the motor, unless you are ordering loads of stuff and using your own transporter, they make, because they'll have one price for someone buying hundreds because they're manufacturing, one price for you, and they make up, they charge the same amount, £12 for the motor, but they will make up for that in the air freight, because they'll send it to you air freight. It'll cost about 45 quid for a motor. But if you get, you know, the motors, unless you really mess with them and put steel spoons and stuff in, the motors will stay frozen. It's all this stuff at the front is designed to break. And you can just get a voltage regulator to fix that. So I'll just show you the different bits. Now you can ask questions in the comments if I've missed anything. So this tube, it needs to be a 3mm wall or it will collapse. I've got a 10mm internal diameter, and I've got 12mm. This Y-shaped thing's got 12mm connection, so actually it has quite force it on. You can do that 12mm cable, a tube, and it will fit on okay, but I wanted that extra pressure, so this is 10mm internal. Well, 10mm is best because that just slides directly onto the connection on the vacuum. So if you get 10mm, rather than getting a special connection from the vacuum, it will just slide directly onto the plug from the vacuum. And then you can get these 12 or 10mm. I got 12 and it's extra pressure. I've got it see-through, so if anything gets in now, I can see if it's getting dirty or anything, I can wash out the inside or get a new bit. Again, got that from Amazon. You want strengthened sides, needs a 3mm wall. So this is 10mm internal diameter, 16mm external diameter. This glass, that would normally be £85, ridiculously expensive. But only on my channel showing you this secret, this top is less than 6 inches. You can get a sheet of float glass, which is strong glass. You can't get it, they don't do it this size and toughened, but you can get float glass as a, what's it called? Sample. With a hole cut in it in the right place, so you can just slide this through for £12. So you want to go to a glass specialist who, you know, the manufacturers who are doing, who actually do the toughening of the glass. They'll also have float glass which isn't toughened, but you can get samples at 150mm or 6 inches, and they will cut the hole in it for £12. Now that would cost £85 otherwise, so there's a good tip. So that is a good reason. See, these, another advantage of these, they shrink at the top, whereas a normal jug is going out. So you've got a much wider thing, much easier to make a vacuum on a smaller size top. So you can get these as samples, which are normally also that wherever it's gone, PET. This is similar, this PET glass. For some reason, they charge a fortune to deliver it, PET acrylic sheet. That's 5mm or 6mm, I think, easily strong enough. You get them at 6-inch samples, so you can buy these as samples and vastly save costs. This is food safe sheet. I forgot what it's called. What's that mastic called? It's something sheet. I'll put the link below. Normally on eBay it's got a shore of 60, which is quite hard. This has got a shore of 30, which is much softer. It's 4mm thick, so it makes a soft gasket. I'll put a link below, but if you can get it 30 or 40 shore, 60 is fine, thinner is fine. I just wanted it thicker. You can get it opaque as well, but I'm just using this from the previous one. You can wash this really easily. You try washing those lids on normal blenders. You can wash this really easy. It's a bit of glass, flat. You just whoosh this out. There's none of those edges, 90-degree angles, you know, these straight vertical bits going down into it. It's got 90-degree. None of that. It's synergetic. You just whoosh the water around or do a blend with water. That will clear that. Easily cleaned. The top. So you put the top on, this top. You don't have to vacuum it to wash it and just wash it out. But also, because you're taking it off the blender and you can't put that on the table, you sit it on that, you see. How many blend jars have a handle like that for you to carry your blender around? Then a special thing to sit it on afterwards. Is there anything else? I think that is it. Right. What else? Oh, I know. Now, before, I just had the hose going to a connector and having that going through. The only place I could get, and it needs to be stainless steel. You don't want brass coming in contact with the water on your blend. It needs to be stainless steel. The only place I could find these stainless steel with a tap on it going through the glass was China. In AliExpress. I'll put the link below to these taps. This is a 1/4 inch British thread on it and then a nut on that, and I've just glued it. The nut is, but I've glued it on this side and on the inside of the glass, and I've used ceramic super glue, and this is also I think this was said epoxy glue, but it doesn't say epoxy glue on it. But anyway, I've used that. It does go off fairly quickly, but it's not like normal super glues that just instantly. It goes off fairly quickly. It is epoxy, I think, because it takes 24 hours to properly set, and it's got a very slight give to it, so it's not just solid, and that has just made a perfect seal in that. With the PETG sheet, oh, there's another. Also, I'm going to get thicker glass. Also, you can, for the same price, for 12 quid, you can get 16 mil depth glass for the same price with a hole in it. And then I'm going to slide that through it and just glue that, and then there will just be a slight bit coming out over the edge, and you can get that. I've got a 10 mil one, a 12 mil one, and a 10 mil one, and just stick that with that super glue through 16 mil glass rather than 8 mil glass. So that will give a thicker glass. This will dig a hole in your worktop. If you've got a normal worktop, notice I've got little cracks where that's landed on things. So I might see if you can get a little kind of rubber thing that can go around it. Something like that may help with the edges on that. But while they're still doing them as samples, I will get fatter ones, 16 mils of that and an extra one of these. I can't see the thing, but this has got a tapered thread on it, and you get a cutter. There's the tapered cutter, that's at an angle. The thread on this is at a slight angle, so as you tighten it in, it just gets tighter and tighter, so that seals itself in, and you can just put a little bit of mastic around the outside, and that'll give you an airtight seal just by screwing it in, because it just tightens into the hole. So that's a 1/4 inch BSPT joint. That's a standard, whatever, British thread, but tapered. And so that gets tighter and tighter and screws in. And again, it's good to have the, why is that so tight? There we go. It's good to have the tap actually here, because even though these tubes are meant to be sealed and they've got clips on, they never are. And just having this tap directly onto this gives you really a perfect seal. Again, these are great. I think they're £6 from AliExpress. It's good to get a few of them, because then the postage is the same, however many you get. And you can get them with your O seals and all of the bits from AliExpress at the same time. Right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the meditation. So here is the meditation. I'm going to teach you holographic breathing, and then we're going to work with the digestion. This is the best. I've showed you the best ever blender. I've showed you how to make your own blenders and mend your own blenders. I've shown you how to make cold steam blending, which is the best blending in the world. I'm now going to teach you the best breath work in the world, which is holographic breathing. And I'm going to teach you how to heal your digestion with it, all free of charge. If you want to donate, you can. I will leave a link to my website where the free webinars are and the free videos, and at the bottom there's a tab, and if you want to donate, you can. But if you don't want to donate, no excuse not to click the like button and share button, and definitely subscribe, because then you'll get the updates from this when I work with the future models of this. All right, so holographic breathing, very particular way of learning this, and it's an activation, so you have to sit into the meditation for a while for it to start. But how it works: the lips are closed and relaxed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. I will talk you through it in the guided meditation. I'm just telling you what it is and how it's done. The lips are closed and relaxed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth and relaxed, the breath is through the nose, and with the lips still closed all of the time and the tongue on the roof mouth all of the time, on the in-breath the jaw is gently opening, and on the out-breath the jaw is gently closing. So there's this movement of the jaw with the breath, but the lips stay closed, the tongue stays on the roof mouth, and this starts this dynamic, this gentle motion of the breath moves through the whole face, brain, cranium, and whole body, and it's deeply healing, and it also moves through the digestion. So in the meditation I will teach you holographic breathing, and then we'll use that to heal your digestion, so you can absorb these super duper blends that I've told you how to do. So I will demonstrate that. You probably won't see it because the movement of the jaw is very subtle, or it's very slow, so it's hard to see it. But we'll see, even though the jaw is moving, my lips will stay closed. And that it's not one of these breathing techniques. It's a meditative, healing, spiritual, connect you to spirit. So I'll demonstrate it for a few breaths. So it's deeply relaxing and it's an instant hit, feels amazing straight away. Notice I'm speaking a lot more slowly now. Let me move this out of the way. For new people, it's good to learn this seated because there's a good chance it's so relaxing. When you're learning it, you'll fall asleep before you've learnt it properly. So it's good to be seated. If you do fall asleep before you've learnt it, just watch this again. But it's good to be seated the first time. Once you've learnt it, you can do it lying down, sitting up, walking, however you want. All right, we will start. So making yourself ready, closing your eyes. And before we start on that guided meditation, we're just going to bring in some resources so everyone can connect with the earth and the higher self. So letting the eyes close, having your lips closed, breathing gently through your nose, and sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth, and letting the earth say hello back. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and beneficial energies, and letting the higher self and beneficial energies say hello back. The beneficial energies are any divine beings, divine energies, spiritual teachers, or anything beneficial, any beneficial spiritual energies you work with. So sending a smile to the higher self and the beneficial energies, and allowing the higher self and the beneficial energies to say hello back. Notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And asking the higher self, the earth, and the beneficial energies to be there as your guide and healing through this whole meditation. Lips are relaxed and closed. The upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and as much as feels comfortable. So it may be half an inch of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, it may be an inch of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, or it may be the whole tongue on the roof of the mouth. But it must be comfortable, whatever feels natural and comfortable. The breath is through the nose. And just to get the experience that you can move the jaw and keep the lips closed, having the lips closed, having the tongue on the roof mouth, and just gently opening and closing the jaw. So gently letting the jaw bounce up and down. Notice you can move the jaw and keep the lips closed. It's a bit like chewing. We eat every day. Jaw just bouncing up and down. And then slowing that motion down, relaxing the jaw open, relaxing the jaw closed, slowing the motion much more down, slower motion. And then when you feel ready, as the jaw is opening with the lips closed, letting the breath come in through the nose. And as the jaw is gently closing, letting the breath leave through the nose. Jaw gently opens, the breath comes in through the nose. The jaw gently closes, the breath leaves through the nose. Relax the back of the neck, relax the back of the head. Notice it feels like a little bellows. The jaw relaxing open, the breath comes in through the nose. The jaw relaxes closed, the breath leaves through the nose. On the out breath, as the teeth are coming together, they just lightly touch. There's no pressure. They just float together. Breathing out, as you breathe out, the teeth just gently float together. Breathing in, they're separating. Breathing out, they gently float together or just very slightly separate. Relaxing the back of the neck, relaxing the back of the head. The lips stay closed all of the time. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth. So now that that has become a bit more natural, we're going to change the gestalt. As you breathe in, we're going to bring the emphasis to the nose and air rather than the jaw. Breathing in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Breathing in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice how relaxing it feels. It's a small motion of the jaw, 2 or 3 millimeters, half a finger width. It's not a big motion, it's a small motion of the jaw. Breathing in, the chest is opening, the lungs are opening, the jaw relaxes open with them. Breathing out, the chest relaxes and closes, the jaw relaxes and closes. Breathing in, the abdomen opens, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the abdomen closes, the jaw relaxes closed. And come right down into your pelvis. Breathing in, the pelvis opens out to the sides. Breathing out, the pelvis closes immediately back towards the middle. There's the whole torso. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Whole torso. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice in a very subtle way your whole face has started to breathe, your cranium has started to breathe, your brain has started to breathe, your neck has started to breathe. It's all started breathing. Your arms, your legs, your hands and feet have started to breathe. The whole body is breathing. Every cell is breathing. Notice how nurturing it feels. Notice how relaxing it is. Notice how it's also a connection to the earth and a connection to the higher self. Becoming aware of your tongue. Notice how this is a much softer energy. This will connect you with your abdomen and organs and digestion, and it will to connect you to the brain. It connects you to the vagus nerve. Becoming aware of your abdomen breathing and all of the organs. Notice how you start being able to sense your abdomen, your organs, your digestive tract, all breathing. Every organ breathing, the whole of the digestion breathing. Relax the back of the neck, relax the back of the head. And as your organs and digestion breathe, notice how they communicate with your brain. Notice how grounding that feels with your digestion, and notice how the brain and organs start talking together and start clearing each other. The brain and organs and digestion heal. Let your neck relax and straighten. Let your brain come to life. Let your spine come to life. Let everything come to life. So allowing yourself to connect with the higher self and divine energies. Letting your energy release from your pelvic floor, from your genitalia, from your rectum, from your sacrum, letting the whole pelvic floor and organs release. And let this release through your spine and body, and through the face and brain, through the top of the head and up into the divine realms. And letting the divine realms, the higher self, come down and heal you. Let that heal through the whole of you, through every part of you. Letting that happen in whatever way feels good. We're going to come back in about a minute, so just letting that work its way through and ground and heal. And sending a thank you to the earth. A thank you to the higher self and beneficial energies. And letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth. For love and healing to the higher self and the beneficial energies and divine energies, and allowing yourself to be loved and healed. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like and subscribe. I have free webinars every month teaching this, and there's a link in the description below where you can go to that and other good free videos. And there will also be, if you subscribe, you will get the updates about making your own blenders. So I'm now going to show you, notice I'm a bit slower now, I'm going to show you how to, I'm going to show you the blend that I make. We're going to make a blend in this one. Okay, so what I'm going to put in this blend is this is flaxseed and chia seeds. I'm trying to work out the name. Soaked or germinated flaxseed and chia seeds. So they're soaked overnight. They give all of these omega oils. They're wonderful. They give you all your omega oils, protein, just zinc, all sorts of stuff in there. And in here, this is it's soaked overnight, so it's all germinating. It's buckwheat, it's just so nutritious. Buckwheat, whole oat, organic. It's all organic. Organic oat groats, organic buckwheat groats. The black bits are black sesame, again, organic, germinating, best source of vegan, best source of calcium, full stop. There are 20 times as much calcium in black sesame as in white sesame. White sesame is chock full of calcium. It's also 80 grams of black sesame gives you your full amount of magnesium, and there's all the other things in there. So this has also got walnuts, macadamia nuts. I normally have pine seeds in it as well, and different nuts as well. So it's a combination of those. It'll be quite a hard blend. It's a grain blend. But this will just instantly be liquefied in this blender. I will click it on and off a few times to get rid of most of the nuts. So most of see these macadamia nuts, which are round, quite big, quite hard, they will bounce around the bottom very easily. But if I pulse the blender a few times, it will break some of them up, and then some will be left to chew. but the majority of the nuts will just be blended, and then there will be some pieces that I can chew on, so I can chew my blend, which is important to get all the saliva going. So I'm going to put this in here. So there, see all that lovely nutrition. So this can all go in. It's quite a lot in here. So there we go. And I'm going to put all this in. There's the water. Let's get all the oil out of this. Excuse me. So just I kind of rinse it around, get every bit of oil out. The oil is just full of omega oils. There's one. Okay, so there it is through. There's a picture of it through the top, so I can get it, so that's good. And let's just turn the pump on. So the pump's on. Here we go, see it all coming up. There's it all bubbling away. So I'm going to turn that, oh no, it's okay. Bubble, 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 bubble. It's all bubbling. So I'll let that bubble for a while, letting all the steam coming out. All right, so now I'll turn that off. Lock those. Let that steam calm down. Okay, now I'm not sure how much you'll see of this. I'm going to slowly turn this up. I've got to turn it on first. So we'll slowly turn this up. So so it's not very high at the minute because okay, so I was turning it on and off at the beginning to get the nuts there, but it wasn't turned up very high, so it doesn't break anything up at that stage, but it might break down the bigger nuts a bit. And then I'm not sure how long I ran it, but I think it was about 10-12 seconds. But now I'm going to release the vacuum. Open that, here we go. There's that releasing. So let's so you can see it. It's hard. Okay, where's the... I normally pour it out from one side. I will normally just drink straight out of this because it's wide enough to do that. And see you get the odd nut dropping out. Can you see occasionally the little nuts there? And the completely smooth blend. Unfortunately that... Okay, I'm just going to put that back on the blend machine. Lovely. It's just completely water. You see I'm chewing because there's a bit of a nut there, so I kind of make it so I didn't turn it as far up as I normally do when it was less than half, but I didn't want to splash on the top because it would have stopped you seeing it, so I didn't have it as fast there, but so it wouldn't have got so many nuts. But I did it a few more times, but then I put it up to full speed. And this, and as you saw, the top stayed totally clean, even though it's up to full speed. It's lovely. So, cold steam blending, made without any oxygen. There's no bubbles in it. Doesn't get all of these bubbles. It's made in an oxygen-free environment. No bubbles in it, so no anything, and totally nutritious, 3 or 4, maybe 5 times as nutritious as your normal blend, and not oxidated. You don't want to be drinking all of that oxidated food. It's not oxygenated. So this one, where it comes to the side, just annihilates everything much faster, much more powerfully, and also clears all the nuts out as well. But I'm going to play with that, maybe put smaller blades in it, because a big blade isn't necessary in that one because it's so much stronger anyway. Then maybe it won't whoosh over the top bit because I don't want to have to clean that. And I just want it in contact with the stainless steel, really. And you have to play with these. Like I started off with this one, which is 3 litres rather than 4 litres. Oh, I didn't tell you how I smash them in. I'll tell you how I smash them in. And then, but there's not enough space, and the froth would go up the tube. And I made this one, and I've had to put an extra bottom bit in because the hole was bigger. I had the 29. And that's got a softer side, you see, so it's not so sharp on the corners, and that makes more of a vortex. This one can go straight up and down sometimes. That one is much more of a because these sides are much sharper. But on this one, just keep carry on drinking. See, 1 nut to every swallow. This one, I would hammer in the sides with a hammer, and just with the 3 litre one, that worked okay. But with these 4 litres, you bang in this side, and the sides will come out. You bang in that side, and the other side will pop out. And he's going from that, and I was doing it so much, that's why it split. I'm just looking for the bit of wood. I can't see it. Eat nuts. And get some nuts with every bite. But the smaller one, because it's smaller, the blades did mush more of the nuts. But what I did with the latest one, I got 3 bits of wood, and I join them. I put bolts, join each side a short length with 2 bolts and 2 long ones, and I would smash the 2 sides in like that, and then I would fit the pieces of wood across so they couldn't bounce out again. And then I hammered these 2 sides, and these 2 sides, and worked my way up. So that's how I do it. 1 minute. Visual is always better. So I put it in here. Like that, and I'd squeeze it, and then I'd tie these sides together with a bit of cord, and then I'd hammer these other sides, but so they couldn't bounce out. So that's how I did that. I will put the link to these below. They're out of stock at the minute. They're from Indian Bazaar. They're more expensive on their website than they are on Amazon. No nuts. I think I've had all of the nuts. They float to the top. But this is just absolutely smooth blend. It's perfect. Best blends I've ever had. I mean, there may be those bigger nuts, but that doesn't mean the rest hasn't been thoroughly blended. It's just that the nuts often whiz around that circle bit without actually going through the whole loop. Absolutely gorgeous blends they make. And you want it in stainless steel, you don't want it in plastic. So Indian Bazaar, and because so many of them they're sharp at the bottom. It's flat, and then it's a cylinder drop down onto the flat, so you get a 90-degree rim around here. But what I wanted is this natural curve, and then this actually works. You can hammer in the sides on these. I don't know how it would work with other work, and whether that would work if it was just this soldered straight joint at the bottom. But this is much better because it rounds around so that the thing can go down, and it naturally loops out to the side, it naturally spins, it naturally runs up, and so you get this really nice round cube vortex. Cheers. A lot of information. Good to watch it again. Write stuff in the comments. Do the meditation lots of times. Try lots of different blends. Leave comments on whether you managed it. It's lovely. Holographic breathing is the best breath work ever in the world. I've healed myself of Lyme disease with it. So good, so nutritious. This blend is so nutritious. See, I'll normally, because I don't want to wash up, I'll normally just drink. Macadamia nut. See, it's totally whole. We've got no dents in it. It's just gone around that bottom bit. If you don't want any nuts, if you just want it all soft, that's the way to go. I'm going to be experimenting with this when they get more in. And I think I'm going to do it with a smaller blade It doesn't need to be that big because it's so ferocious. This is so ferocious. It doesn't need a big blade. It'd be a much smaller blade. And also, I haven't got a metal bottom on, same as this one yet. You know, just swap them over. But this one, what I will do is I will have a metal bottom from here through there, and then equal distance, so it'll come out this side to keep it properly stable on the blender top. Oh, I'll do that again so you can see how smooth it is. It's hard to do it. And there we go. So you can see the nuts, but other than that, it's just completely liquid. Whoops. Cheers. So this is about a 3 to 1.5 litre blend I've made. Like my videos, share them, practice the holographic breathing, it will change your life. Go for walks, do exercise, get air, get light, have nutritious food. So I think, so good. Not often you sit and watch someone eating or drinking on a video. So that is it for today. I've got loads of free videos, I've got free webinars. Come to my free webinars. Donate some money, give me some money. Divine inspiration I channel in these videos and definitely in the meditation part. So healing, free. What more? What's not to like? Okay, that's it.